Welcome to How's Your ePresence? This show is produced by ePresence, and I am Mark Galvin, your host. We're so glad that you are with us today. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic show because we're going to talk about videos in a unique way. Stick around with that. You'll hear more than that. Here's something that's really interesting that's popped up recently. We all know that employers have decided at times not to hire people because of stuff that they found on somebody's or a candidate's social media. Well, the social media sites are starting to realize that, and you're able to delete content from social media. Did you know that? That's pretty cool. Go check that out. Thanks for being here. What we do on this show is we like to talk about the things that'll help you do your business better. You can go check out our YouTube channel. We have a wide variety of things there that you can go and get answers for. So go check that out. We also have a podcast. So we drop all these shows as a podcast. Please feel free to add us to your podcast app. And we would love to fill up your feed with all of our great content. We have a great show for you today. We're going to talk about what makes a video go viral. And we have talked about videos here on How's Your ePresence before, but our guest today has the trick to make videos go viral. So stick around, you'll want to see this. Who's this great guest? His name is Joseph Wilkins with Funny Sales Videos. He's the founder, or was the founder, of Pro Creative Studios back in 2000. And they produced infomercials, TV spots, and marketing videos for big-time clients. Big-time clients like who? Google, LinkedIn, McDonald's, Goldman Sachs, and the like. He then launched funnysalesvideos.com, where he created attention-grabbing viral videos that would get millions of views. So, for example, he's had clients that have earned over $250 million in total sales from his viral videos. He now is a host of a podcast, and the name of that podcast is How to Make a Video Go Viral. You'll definitely want to check that out, especially after you see all the great things that he shares with us today. Now, wherever you're watching from, we'd love for you to ask a question. If you see something that looks interesting, you want us to go deeper on something, throw it at us. We will be happy to have Joseph answer that for you. Or if you just want to tell us where you're watching from, that'd be great too. Just give us a city and state or country. That would be absolutely terrific. Well, I think I have hit all the highlights. Let's see if we can find Joseph out there. There he is. Joseph, welcome.
Thank you, Mark. It's good to be here.
I am so glad you are joining us today. Now, you don't sound like you're from South Alabama. Where are you from?
I'm originally from London. I was born and raised in London. When I was 21, I moved to the UK. So I've been half of my life here and half of my life back home in England. I
love that. And so, wait a minute. And where are you joining us from today?
Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City. Well, wow. London to Salt Lake City. That is a definite difference in cultures.
Yes.
How have you been doing in Salt Lake?
Oh, I love it here. And like I said, this is home now. It's a really, really good place to live in the filmmaking community. It's a fantastic place to be. A lot of big movies, big TV shows come film here because of the diverse landscapes. But it's also the next big tech boom. I mean, Silicon Slopes.
I've heard that.
Yeah, Silicon Slopes is a real thing. A lot of big tech companies are moving from San Francisco to Utah because of how, many entrepreneurs and good talent are here.
And it's a lot less expensive than San Francisco.
It is, but it's not cheap though. Things everywhere are getting more expensive, right? But yes, compared to San Francisco.
That's for sure. I filled up my car last night. I've never spent that much money on gas in my life. But anyway, let's not go there. That's not what we're here today. So here's what I'd love for you to share, Joseph, is what exactly do you do and why do you do it?
So what I do now is I create outrageously entertaining videos that have one goal. That goal is to grab someone's attention who knows nothing about my client's product or service, and in 3 minutes or so, get them to click into their sales funnel. And I do that using humor, entertainment, all of the tricks in my bag to make them, to grab their attention, tell them a story that's relevant to a problem that they have, and then show them a solution. And the why do I do it? Honestly, after 20 years of running a video production studio, nothing is even close to as fun for me as a creative person.
That's cool.
Yeah, and also nothing as big as a rush as launching one of these videos and seeing millions and millions and tens of millions. And now with one of our clients, we've hit 100 million campaign views. I mean, these are really, really exciting videos that can blow up sales for companies.
That's really impressive. I just got to say, because it is difficult to come up with something that is that engaging. So I gotta do some shout outs if you don't mind. So it's funny, I brought up Alabama, and I really, Craig, it's not because I didn't bring up South Alabama because you were there. I swear I just saw you joined. But our good friend Craig Maddox is joining us from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And we've also got Dominic Leon from Toms River, New Jersey. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey, you know what? You and I have a script that we were supposed to go by, but I've got your first question coming from our audience. How about this? Is it possible to apply this concept to fundraising?
Yes,
that, Joseph?
Actually, that's a really, really good question. And we have an experience where we had a startup company that came to us and said, we need to raise money. We created a video, and within 2 weeks, we raised $1 million.
No.
There's a case study video. There's a case study video on our homepage if you want to go watch it.
You know what? I think you just got Craig a promotion for the record. If he can raise $1 million from one video, that's some decent ROI right there, right?
Now, I'm not going to take all of the credit, and we'll talk about how a lot of the time it looks like the video did all of the work, but there's a lot behind the scenes. Kickstarter is a great example. When you see videos that created millions of dollars on Kickstarter, most of the foundation work nobody ever sees, right? You got to build a campaign that surrounds that video. But yeah, that one video, we launched it, we raised $1 million, and then they used it on a B2C campaign, generated another $1 million, then used it on a B2B campaign. So a lot of you people listening may think, well, is it I'm B2B, not B2C, is funny, right? Absolutely. We raised $3 million in revenue from that one video.
So this is really cool, Joseph. One of the things that we like to talk about on this show and with our clients on ePresence is generating content is always smart. Generating evergreen content's even smarter. And that's what you're sharing here, is that as we get into this, these are video concepts that can be used again and again and again. So I think we've got Craig willing to hang out for the rest of the show. So Craig, welcome. Glad you are here. Let's get into some of these questions. I've got a few things I want to throw at you, and I just want everybody to know, here's how today's will go. Today is one of our hour-long shows. We're going to run until the top of the hour here on the East Coast. We do drop the show in 2 segments, so we'll have a break right at 30 minutes, and we'll drop the show in 2 30-minute podcasts. So you can watch the entire show if you want, or you can always grab it as a podcast later. All right. So, Joseph, let's get into this. So
let's do it.
How do these videos compare to traditional sales videos that people have seen created in the past? And I want to also know why. What is it that does that?
Yeah, great question. So here's a case study. When I founded this company 20 years ago, my very first client was Little Giant Ladders. We were one of the 3 production companies that produced that infomercial. And for the next 15 years, we were focused on non-funny videos, right? Your traditional TV commercials, infomercials, and then we would put those on the web and use them as sales videos. Our very first campaign did over $200 million in sales.
Okay. This is funny sales videos.
No. This is 20 years ago when I launched Procreative. right?
Got it.
Procreative was just a traditional, video marketing, TV commercials, the old school way of doing things. And, that first campaign, $200 million, blew my mind. So for the next 15 years, that was the carrot that we were chasing to do that for other clients. Here's the problem. I don't know about you. I can't remember the last time I watched TV. It may have been for live sports, maybe live news. Anything else, you'll never see me with a remote control.
Right. Everything's streaming today, right?
Exactly.
It's so difficult. I think that as a marketer, like, why would I buy a commercial, a slot in typical TV? Because I'm just not going to watch it.
Yep. And so obviously that $200 million, that was kind of the biggest campaign we'd ever seen. And then results started going down because the viewers they were jumping away. And so we would then try to apply those same techniques to YouTube videos and website videos and, other kinds of videos. And yes, we did a decent amount of success, but nothing. I mean, we never got a video that went over, I think 100,000 views was the biggest video we'd ever got on YouTube. And obviously views for the sake of views means nothing, but they translate into sales. But it wasn't until 5 years ago that our clients basically said, we can't hire you anymore. We're just not seeing the results because these videos are boring, they're ignorable, right? In today's world of short attention spans, if you don't grab someone's attention, and I mean immediately in the first 5 seconds, and give them a reason to keep watching, you've lost their attention. So the reason why, back to your question, the reason why these funny sales videos work so much better than anything that I've seen in my 20-year career is this: when your customers are going online, which is where all of our videos are now focused. They're going to Facebook, they're going to Instagram, they're going to YouTube. Why? It's not to be sold. It's to have a break. It's to watch a silly cat video or, see some friends' updates. They're there to be entertained. So the closer your content can imitate the reason why they're there in the first place, the more likely you are to connect with them. So because of that, every one of our videos does not start by trying to sell you a product. It starts by trying to get you to laugh or be shocked or lean in some way. It's a piece of sketch comedy that won't reveal its true nature as a commercial until you're 30 seconds, maybe even 60 seconds into it. But by that time, I've got your attention and I've kind of created a little bit more curiosity that you'll give me a little bit longer to tell you a story. And that will lead to a sale.
Yeah, you mentioned that, people are there for entertainment. I think the challenge is that people can click off.
Yes.
They have a lot more control over their content. You can either swipe up, keep moving, or I can, I always have my little mouse hovered over that skip button on the commercial that shows up right before the YouTube video that I'm watching. If you can hook me, I will absolutely watch it. And there are signs, and I think a lot of us are used to this. There are signs that a commercial that's running is something I don't want to watch, right? A sketchy, shaky video of somebody standing there and you can tell that they're just hey, you really need this. It will make you money. I'm like, let me skip this. So hooking somebody in the first 30 seconds is key because they'll stop and they'll watch it because it becomes entertaining.
Yeah. And to validate that, let me just give you 2 quick case studies. The very, very, very first campaign we took on when we launched Funny Sales Videos 5 years ago, I spent about a year assembling the right team, and I'll talk maybe in the next segment about the steps of how I go through each one of our videos. But our very first campaign was for a super niche SaaS service. And we got 7 million views and over $500,000 in immediate signups for that subscription. So immediately we knew we were onto something.
What was the SaaS service? What did they do?
So it was actually it was a Christian Netflix for kids to learn their Bible stories, right? Super niche. And we
Yeah.
got
Oh my God.
7 million views, and the monthly was like, $20 a month to sign up. And we got over $500,000 worth. Now, it was lifetime value because they knew that the average person that signed up would stay for 10 months. So based on that, that's how we arrived at that number. But, that
Amazing.
immediately told us this is what you need to be doing, and then bring us to today. Like I mentioned in the open, our biggest campaign, between 5 or 6 different videos, but using the same characters, we have over 100 million views and just millions and millions and millions of dollars in sales.
That's just amazing. So you probably know this. Maybe there's some data here. Out of the number of views that you get on a video, what's an average number of sales that people will actually buy? What does that look like?
It's going to vary wildly. And let me just qualify who I am and what I do so that you don't think that I can speak on every subject under the sun. We're a creative shop. So our only focus is if a client calls us up and says, I sell red markers and I need to sell more red markers. My job is to get my team to figure out who is it that needs red markers. Why is my red marker better than my competitors? And then create a story that's going to drive attention and ultimately clicks into a sales funnel. So somebody selling red markers for 99 cents is a totally different metrics as somebody who's selling barbecues at $5,000 because they're premium end, right? It's going to be completely different. But what I will tell you is even the best, and we went through the Harmon Brothers mentorship program. That's one of the things that we did to launch this company. And they're the best in the world, right? They did Poopery, Squatty Potty, Purple Mattress. These are videos that have, a lot higher results than we do. But even they, the best in the world, talk about how they only have about a 5% watch through rate. Okay, so 95% of the people that start watching their video will not finish. And that's totally normal. But if you get millions and millions of people into your sales pipeline, or at least into your video, and 5% of millions stay, that's a huge transformational sales funnel that you can create. So that's a politician's way of saying, I have no clue how to answer your question, other than it's about creating a huge top of funnel video that whittles it down to a sales action, whether that's buy now, whether that's for your B2B customers, schedule an appointment, whether that's attend a webinar, whether that's download my free ebook. You're just looking to get to that next step and move them along the sales funnel. And that video is the first impression.
Got it. Makes total sense. And it is like a lot of sales people will tell you this, the more activity you can get, the higher the number of calls you make will increase the number of sales. It is quote unquote, and it's always been this, a numbers game. So let's get as many people to watch as possible.
Exactly.
But I bet if you create something that is extremely entertaining, people are going to come back and look at that again. They'll try to tune that up, try to catch that again. Now, and this is something I've never thought about this. If I land on YouTube and there's a great commercial, right, that the roll at the beginning of a YouTube video, and I want to see that again, how do I get back to it? Right? If your video's running, it's a funny sales video. Is there a way to do that? I never thought about that.
You mean if the video's finished and you've now gone into the ad, or into the content that you originally wanted? I don't think so. And again, so we create the video, then we hand it off to marketing agencies that buy the media. So those will be the experts to ask. But I don't think there's a way to see that again.
So in theory, if I land on a video, hopefully I remember who it is, right? I always think that's fascinating when there's marketing that I can't remember what they're advertising or who, but it is very likely I should be able to go to their website and find that video. So that's another thing, is make sure you put those funny videos on your website.
Right. Depending on the platform, you'll also be retargeted.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. All right. There is a trick to this, and it is going viral. is yeah, I could do a funny video, but I mean, tell you what, how do you come up with something that's
Yeah.
funny, right? That's got to be, I'm sorry, that's got to be really, really hard. And you did say figure out who the audience is. And so you need your audience, your specific audience to find it funny. How the
Yes.
heck do you come up with that?
Such an important question. The short answer is that's part of the 8 steps that I'm going to go into detail in the next segment. The short answer is absolutely. You have to get inside the brain of who it is that you're talking to. Nobody would ever write a letter and make it super personal, then walk to the mailbox and then decide who to address it to. You have to start with who is it that I'm talking to, what's the problems that they're facing, and then when you're writing, I mean, I personally have a whole bench of different writers, and I'll select different ones depending on the project. The humor for a SaaS video that's going to a CXO is going to be totally different than the humor for an acne cream for a teenager. So it has to be relevant, and you have to test it in order for it. Nothing's funny unless somebody thinks it's funny, right? A tree lands in the forest doesn't make 100%. A noise if nobody hears it. So yeah, it's all Joseph, about testing.
I think things are funny that nobody else laughs at. I'm just going to tell you, right? And so trying to target me really hard. But my kids, on the other hand, they're constantly laughing at stuff that I just think is stupid. But so you got to figure out how to target that specific audience. And you said something I think is important is you have a group of writers that can adapt. So understanding, okay, like for example, on our team, we have folks that are younger, they would have an easier time of communicating to people that are their own age than somebody that is 4 times their age. So you do have to adapt to your audience.
Absolutely. And you also, if you are going to be involved, and we'll talk about the process later. If you're going to be involved in that process, you have to start consuming the stuff that they're consuming, right? Ooh. So I may be in my 40s, but I pride myself on always staying in touch with what the younger generation are doing. I'm on TikTok, I'm on not Facebook if it's the younger generation, right? I'm looking at where are the younger generation so that I can be consuming content, because, TikTok trends is a huge thing that will give you ideas if you want to speak to that demographic. I have young teenage kids, and I'm constantly asking them, what are the kids saying? I mean, I'm sounding like a boomer here, right? But that's the nature of the beast. You have to keep up with the people that you're trying to talk to. But ideally, you're involving those people in as many of the steps that we'll talk about later as possible.
Oh, that's really cool. And for those of you watching, what is he talking about later? In the second half, we're going to get into very specific steps on how you build these videos. So we're kind of doing the 30,000-foot view. Come back after the half of the hour and at the break, and you'll be able to see all of those granular steps that we'll get into. I really think that that's something that's interesting, is that you said you've got to consume the content that your audience is consuming. When I get on the TikTok, I'm amazed at how quickly time flies, first of all.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm also surprised at how confident people who probably shouldn't be confident are on their TikTok videos, right? They just like, wow, how do they get the courage to do that? But that's part of that entertainment thing, that there's a little shock value. There's a little, hey, that's quirky. It's totally different. Hey, look at how these folks can dance. And there's also you really, TikTok understands what who you are being targeted by. So if I watch a certain style video, like I'm always watching videos on dogs, so I get all these dog videos because that algorithm knows that that's what I'm going to find entertaining. It's interesting that makes it easier to target that demographic if that's your target on TikTok. Have you guys done videos for TikTok?
We have. Yes, we have. In fact, we're working on one right now. Wow. TikTok is a different beast because you have to know from day one where you're going to be showing your video. Some of my clients have made this mistake. In fact, I'm literally working with a client right now that should have told me this 4 months ago when he shot his video, that he also wanted to be on TikTok. Because if your viewers are watching this, look at my phone. This is how I personally watch videos. This is how everyone on YouTube watches videos.
Right.
This is
landscape.
how people.
For those of you on the podcast, he's showing his phone landscape view.
Right. Sorry, terrible radio. So if you turn it horizontally, instead of it being 16:9 widescreen, it's now 9:16 portrait. So if you've shot your video in widescreen, you are screwed if you want to put it on TikTok. So now what we're doing with one of our videos is we're literally having to edit it and squeeze just the most important information into the center of the screen. But if you know that going in, then you can set your guides. Now, there's no magic bullet for a camera that's going to be able to get both of the proportions unless you're using what we do, which is like a 6K camera that has huge resolution and you can zoom into the middle. But that still doesn't help you if you've framed your image with the important stuff on the outside. So these are just little details, but you got to know going in, who are you talking to? Where are you talking to them? Because you can't run a 3-4 minute ad on TikTok. You can on Facebook. So you have to know all of these things. But that's a long way of saying 80% of our stuff is still Facebook and YouTube. That's our bread and butter.
80% Facebook and YouTube. Okay,
yeah.
Good.
Unless we've got a client that is very focused on the younger demographic, and then, we would never touch Facebook.
All right, I got some questions from the audience here. How about this one? Is there a microphone you recommend?
Are we talking about for video?
Yes.
Or for podcasting? Well, that gets into a whole different discussion about production. It is a good question, though, because in the 8 steps that we'll run through, my goal is to tell you, if you have no budget at all, how can you do the kinds of videos that we do yourself? And I'm here to tell you that my iPhone shoots a 4K image that I would have paid $50,000 for when I started this company. The cameras that I used to run weren't even 4K. And so everyone has no excuse because they have that camera in their pocket right now. But Jason, they don't have a great microphone. And that's a really good question. They have a really good camera, but you definitely want to record good, clean audio. Personally, I'm looking around for it. I don't have it on me. It's over there. Okay, so personally, I would recommend a Zoom H4 or 5, and then you can plug. It's a little recording box. Yep. And then you can plug any mic into that, an XLR mic like the ones that we're both using here today. Ideally, you want a shotgun mic, right? Because that's going to get into places. But pretty much any kind of mic is going to be better than what you got inside the iPhone. The cheapest one is just a lav mic that'll clip on.
Video's going to be good.
Yes. If you know how to frame and light.
Yeah. All right, good. And he's talking about, I don't know what a ROD is, or a Rode is, but I use a Yeti here in the office. Is that what you have?
This is a Rode mic right here, and Rode also have good boom mics. You're spending probably $200-300 on a good boom mic, but it's worth it if you're going to spend the time and energy to create something like this.
All right, good. He's got another question. I just loved it. If you throw out the questions, folks, we will ask it. What do you think about this?
Okay, so
let me read this for the podcast audience. Is it better to post something okay daily, or should you focus on posting something great weekly?
Okay, here's where 90% of the audience are going to turn off. You ready? Okay, my job, what I do on a daily basis, is I create the absolute best videos I can that is going to get the results that I'm talking about. Do you want to take a guess how long it takes us to produce one video?
All right. Yeah, I'm going to take a stab at this. If you're watching, you can plug it in. I'll let you throw it out there. But you got to do it quick because I don't have a lot of time. I'm going to guess it takes you guys total. You want hours or days? What's the best way to answer this?
See, you're already out of the ballpark because it's months.
Oh, you're kidding.
4 months. Right. 4 months.
What?
If anyone listening today calls us up and says we want to do a video, but we need it in 3 months, my answer is no.
I'll be dang.
Because
Wow.
it takes, and again, this is why there are 8 steps that we do, and each one takes, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get the kind of results that we get. And there's definitely a way to do it cheaper and easier. I just don't want to do it. I'm a perfectionist. I want to get the results that I get. And the only way that I've seen to get that is by following these steps. So anyway, back to your question, Jason. I believe marketing should be like a salad. You don't need all cucumbers, or you don't need all, chicken. My videos are the chicken. You should also have cheap videos, testimonial videos, CEO videos, unboxing videos. Those post daily, weekly, whatever you want. But you're never going to get millions of views on those kinds of videos. And more importantly, those views are never going to lead to the kind of transformational sales. I mean, we literally, not to tout our horn too much, we have companies that hire us after one video, they double, triple, quadruple sales. We had one client within 1 week, immediately 10x their sales, sold out of 100% of their inventory. I mean, this is the result. Yeah, it is. But that's the result of working for 4 months on a campaign. But by all means, do all these other videos.
We're gonna take a break here. So we're right at the middle of the show. In case we don't get folks back, I'd love for you to share, where do you want people to find you?
Really easy. If you can see the video, funnysalesvideos.com. That's where you can download our free ebook, where it will step you through the 8 steps we take every one of our videos through. You can do it yourself. That's also the place where you can take a look at our videos. And then if you wanted to get in contact with us, there's a little form there that you can schedule a free brainstorming session with us. That's so cool. Funnysalesvideos.com. And then how to make a video go viral.com is our podcast.
So cool. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break here, but stick around. If you join us on the other side, we're going to go through the 8 steps.
Yep.
It sounds like we're going to be there for 4 hours. We're going to go through the 8 steps of making a great and funny sales video. Morgan, take it away.
To be successful on TikTok, many people recommend posting between 4 and 40 videos a day. That is a lot of content to come up with. Rather than stressing yourself out trying to figure that out, just go to your For You page and see what is already doing well. You'll see what sounds and perspectives people are using, and you can plug your own content into those formats. Still need a little bit of help? That's what we're here for. ePresence, social media solved.
Well, folks, welcome back to the second half of How's Your ePresence. We have a great guest with us today. His name is Joseph Wilkins. If you missed the first half of the show, so if you're a podcast listener and you're tuning into this, I recommend that you go back and catch the last episode where we sat down and we talked with Joseph about why he does what he does. This is someone who understands video like nobody's business. You got to hear some of the numbers that he shared on how he was able to create such great viral content. And we got into TikTok. We talked in, we had a lot of guests, a lot of our listeners were asking great questions about how you can get the best microphones. We also asked if nonprofits would benefit from this kind of work. So let me give you a little tease on who Joseph is. He's with an organization called Funny Sales Videos. That's easy to remember. He is the founder and he was the founder of Procreative Studios back in 2000. They did commercials and infomercials and the like for folks like Goldman Sachs, Chevrolet, and Home Depot. Then he launched Funny Sales Videos, where he is interested in creating viral style videos that will make people want to watch this content. And he's the host of a podcast called How to Make a Video Go Viral. So I recommend that you go and take a look at that. Add that podcast to your feed right after you have after you add us to your feed. Well, let's bring Joseph back on because we're going to talk about some really interesting stuff next. And it is, you said there's 8 steps. Is that right? 8 steps to making a great video. Well, let's get into it. What are those 8 steps?
Before I jump into that, let me go back to a question that we didn't cover in the first half that I think is important.
Okay.
And that is, how do you actually make a video go viral? And this is where I'm going to, again, break everyone's hearts that think that they're just going to follow these 8 steps and get a video campaign like ours that got 100 million views. I'm here to pull back the curtain and tell you the dirty secret, which is anytime that you see these days, back in the day when Facebook first started or YouTube first started, there were some videos that went quote unquote organically viral. Does not happen anymore. These platforms are too sophisticated. They will spot the difference between a commercial and a cat video, and they will actually make it harder for a commercial to be shared if, and here's the big if, you're not paying to play.
Right.
So these are not organically viral videos.
So Joseph, there is a site that will serve up your video and they don't care about the content. TikTok. Is not. That is true. That is absolutely true. We don't play as much in TikTok, and I think that is the last frontier where people can. 100%. It's not going to be like that for long, I am sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great point.
We often talk about and LinkedIn is still another place that you can reach a larger audience. I do think that there may be something to if it looks like a commercially produced video that they may suppress, maybe is the right word for that.
Yeah.
Organic content on LinkedIn still does pretty well, but Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, 100%, you're going to have to pay to reach your audience.
Yes. Now that's good news and bad news. It's bad news because, you can't just go viral. It's good news because there's actually a path that if you follow, you can get. I mean, we literally have clients that have, when they swap out our video with what they're currently running, they're double, triple, quadruple their return on ad spend. And that's what it's all about, is return on ad spend. If I was to say to you, Mark, I'm going to build you a vending machine. It's full of $100 bills. It never runs out and it costs $20 to use. How many times are you going to want to use that machine?
Sign me up, right?
Exactly. That's what we're talking about. Creating a campaign. It sounds like
a printing press.
Yeah.
Is it legal?
It is legal. Yeah, at least in 50 states. So anyway, it's basically a way to increase the return that you're getting on your ad spend. All of these videos that you see that look like they went viral were all started with ad spend, and probably 90 to 95% of those views were purchased. Maybe 5 to 10% will get organic lift because they will be shared. But the lion's share is always ad spend. But if I can take $1, spend it on Facebook, and give you $3, $4 in return, that's liquid gold. And that's what our videos do. So with that, Joseph, as a platform.
Before the show, I didn't say this to you. I should have mentioned this. If you want to share a screen, we can actually screen one of your videos if you want, or I can come find it on my screen if you want, and we can share it that way. But do keep that in mind if you want to see it, show examples. Okay.
Good to know. So let's jump in, because we don't have too much time, to the 8 steps. And this is a free ebook that anyone can download on our homepage, funnysalesvideos.com. And we created this simply because we can't keep up with the demand of people that want to hire us. So we wanted to create something that we could just hand to people and say, go either do this yourself or hire a local company, and then come back to us when we're free, and you'll have a lot more money because you've made some good success to hire us. Anyway, so step 1, it's the most boring step, but it's the one that people want to skip over, and that is doing your research. We talked about it a little bit in the first segment. You've got to identify your customer avatar. The campaigns that are most successful because we literally get tens of thousands of comments from people saying, I don't know why I just watched a 3-4 minute commercial, but I loved it. Well, why did you love it? Because it was made for you. It spoke to you. It solved your problem and it gave you a solution that you genuinely need. How did we know? Because we'd done our research. The more granular you can get with the targeting and identifying who is your customer, not just, what's their age and demographic and income, but what do they order at Starbucks? What radio stations do they listen on their way to work? What keeps them up at night? All of these psychographic profiling that will get your messaging to connect on such a deeper level. Here's a power hack. If you don't know where to start, we won't produce a video or at least start writing a script until we have read at least 100 customer reviews, either from the client, or if the client doesn't have that many reviews, we'll go look at their nearest competitor. And we literally steal our script from those scripts, right? Each review is a little script. We steal their words. We steal what they're saying so that when our actor or actress is saying it, it's as if they are saying it.
Oh my gosh. That is just brilliant. I think, and here, I just got to share why I think this is so smart. It's because if you want to really figure out how to channel your clients, get your clients to channel themselves. And the other thing I love is, because if you just said to me, and I always think of this through my own prism, I don't have 100 customer reviews. But you don't have to recreate the wheel because other people are reviewing other competitors. If it's the same, if I provide the same product, they're going to have the same thing.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's just great. And folks, this is not just for videos. You should do this. Period.
Sales letters, website copy. This is all marketing 101. So in our world, what we're trying to identify from our research is who is our customer. And I want to come up with about 5 key selling points. Right? Reasons why people are writing, I love this product because. Now, I'm also looking for not individual opinions, but trends that alert me to, there's an objection here I need to overcome in the video. So if a lot of people are saying it's too expensive, if you don't address that in your video, nobody's going to buy because it's too expensive. But if you use that video to build the value and help describe why you're only going to buy one of mine versus 3 of my competitors because theirs are going to break or whatever it is, an unresolved concern will never lead to a sale. So you've got to resolve if it's a big enough deal, and that's something that only you will know, is if enough people are talking about it. So I'm looking for 5 key selling points and maybe 1 or 2 objections to overcome. So that's step 1. That'll give me a framework of these are my objectives for this video.
All right, so Joseph, this show wraps up in like 16 minutes. I do want to get through the 8, so we're probably going to have to go faster, but I love this. This is so frustrating. But anyway, go for it. I just want to give you a time.
Let's do it. Step 2 is brainstorming. This is the one that scares the crap out of most people. How do I stare at a white piece of paper and come up with an idea for a viral style sales video? And I tell people, don't try, just do. In other words, what I'm doing is I'm coming up with, between me and my team, our goal is to throw out 50 bad ideas. And an idea is just who is the character of my video and what's their problem. Don't worry about anything else. So, if I've got my red marker, I don't know, it could be, no, that's terrible. I can't say that. But you got to throw out really, really, really bad ideas. And if you have a whiteboard full of 50 bad ideas, you'll have 2, 3, 4, 5 good ideas. And then we take those ideas and we say, which is the one that resonates the most? We test it on people. We ask people's opinions. Read more about it in the ebook. That's step 2, brainstorm.
Got it.
Step 3, scripting. So our scripts, we basically take our scripts and we create a character arc. It's got to begin with a pain, a person that has a problem. It's got to then lead to a guide that shows them the solution, and it's got to resolve with, now my life is happier, better, brighter, whatever it is. You've got to show the hero's journey. Donald, what's the guy's name? Story Brand. Donald, is it Miller? He has a whole podcast talking about this. I highly recommend it. You've also got to create your big opening hooks. Now, most of our videos, we will film and edit 3 totally different opening hooks. That's your first 5 to 10 seconds that nobody can skip over if it's in the YouTube. You got 5 seconds to hold them hostage. If you can earn their interest in 5 seconds, then you have to keep hooking it every 20 seconds. You don't ever stop. You got to create these hooks throughout the video. Jerry Seinfeld's wife wrote a book on how to sneak vegetables into your kids' junk food. Our jokes are the junk food. The vegetables are the sales copy points. The whole thing needs to be an entertaining story that never gets boring, that never gets old. There's only one time that you want to see a drop in the retention curve when you look at your statistics for when people are leaving, and it's when you introduce the product. That's normal. People know that you're going to lose people. But anywhere else, if there's big drops, you got to look at it and say, how can I make that more interesting? How can that make that more exciting?
Good.
Okay, so step 3 is creating the story based on that brainstorm character and problem. Step 4, this is the fun part, add the comedy. Now, I'm going to break everyone's heart and tell everyone on this call, do not write your own comedy. Unless you're a trained comedian. So what I do, we have 7 writers on every one of our videos. This is why it takes so long. We have the copywriter, the marketing copywriter, we have the storyteller, and then once the story is finished, I have at least 5 professional stand-up comedians that work for me on a freelance basis, and anyone listening can reach out to comedians on Fiverr or Upwork, or literally just go to the stand-up club and talk to people. These are artists that travel during the day and work at nights. They have tons of time to work for me. But if I have a story and I give it to 5 really professional, funny comedians, and everyone's throwing their jokes, they're punching it up, it gets better and better as we kind of use this virtual writer's room of a Google paper document that they're all contributing to. That's how we go through the process.
Okay. So you have just ripped through 3. You way caught up. This is good. So I'd like to talk about this for a second.
Let's do it.
This is really smart that you're bringing in experts that are funny.
Yes.
And I think that I really want to kind of reach for this because we all think that we're funny. I think I'm hilarious in my own world, but there's also understanding what's funny today, and stand-up comedians know what's funny because they get instant feedback.
Exactly.
And they know this is something that makes people laugh because I always get a laugh at this. So they'll be able to help with that. But I think this is interesting. You say 5. If somebody was writing their own, they could probably get 1 or 2 to join them. Maybe you buy them a beer. They don't make a lot of money. No, I'm kidding. Most of them don't make a lot of money.
No, you're right.
But I bet you could contract with them to come in to help you develop your own video.
Yeah, this does not have to break the bank. I mean, you can get good comedy writers to work for you for, $100 an hour. If you get 5 comedy writers and they each put a couple of, 1 or 2 hours in, that's not going to break the bank. But that's one of the most important ingredients that you can put into this kind of video. The other thing is, so Fiverr is the first place I would go.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I would, not all of mine, but some of mine have come through Fiverr. Now you got to sift out the good from the bad, look at their reviews, look at, the work that they've done before. But I've got some really good people off of Fiverr. I have some people that literally live on cruise ships. They are the comedian of the cruise ship during the night. And then during the day, they're literally writing from me from the beaches of Barbados. So
that's a rough life.
Be creative and think about these comedians. Most of them have websites. You can email them. I watch a lot of comedy on YouTube. I watch stand-up comedy. There's a Dry Bar Comedy is a really good resource for watching good comedians that are clean. Now, there's a whole nother subject. My videos, I aim to be shocking, but family friendly. Why do I say that? Well, not only do I think that's the kind of comedy that I want to do, it's also safe and it's not going to get banned on Facebook. You don't want to spend a whole bunch of time, and I could go off on this forever on how litigious Facebook has become, especially since the political, charging season. But there's so many things that you cannot say on Facebook. You want to figure out, how do I make this still on brand to my company, but disruptive so that it's different than anything we've ever done before. And that's a delicate dance. But
okay, time-wise, let's push on. This is good. Great info.
Step 5, production. So you would think, as a guy that's run a video production studio for the past 20 years and has invested way more money than I want to admit to my wife on camera equipment and, you know, the very best gadgets, the most important part of producing a video is not having the best camera. It's having the best actor. Every single time, I'll take a great actor and a crappy camera over the very best camera equipment and a terrible actor. So I spend, and hear this, I will look at about 100 actors for everyone I cast. I go to my local acting agencies, I take a portion of the script, I send it to them, I look at their website, I review the demo reels of the different actors. It doesn't cost you anything to get actors to act out your video and send you videos of their auditions. Now, here's a sneaky power tip. I steal some people's ideas because sometimes they'll come up with a little improv here, or they'll put a little spin there. I'm gleaning from the process. Every step should make your video better. But ultimately, you're looking for an actor that will resonate with the audience. So I never say, you know, I want a blonde female that's this size and looks pretty, because that could be the complete opposite of what resonates with the audience. And so going through the auditioning process is critical. If there are 2 places that I would tell people that you have to spend money if you're going to do this yourself, it's on getting some good writers and getting a good actor. Everything else you can get by with. Now, it's still not going to give you the best results, but you can get by with it. But don't skimp out when it comes to hiring a really good actor. This is not the kind of video that you want to star in unless you are a trained comedy improv actor. Those videos, they're the salad and you know, the lettuce and the cucumbers. This is the chicken. Okay, so while we're talking about production, while what I said is absolutely true, everyone is filming on an iPhone. So guess what? Every video looks the same. The way to stand out and be different and to be disruptive and to stop the scroll, which is what it's all about, is to spend a little bit of extra money and hire the professionals with the right cameras, with the right lighting, with the right mics, and do it. If you're going to go through the process, time or money, you know, why waste your time and then come up with an inferior product because you didn't spend a bit of extra money? But, you know, either way.
Question there. I do have a question. It seems like sometimes the viral videos are the ones that are not overly produced.
Yes.
Do you think there's anything to that?
Yes, there definitely is. That, again, that's a different kind of video. This video is a very specific, it follows a formula and a proven, you know, history of results. Those kinds of videos that you're talking about, I couldn't create. If somebody was to call me and say, oh, I saw this video on TikTok by this influencer, I want to do something like that, I would say, you can't. That's genuine. That can't be fabricated or manufactured.
Got it.
And for those kinds of videos, they should be raw and unpolished. Not
there's
this
all
kind.
Part to that is, okay, you see the one, it's great. How many of those videos have been dropped by people before you found a great one, right? And I'm not talking about that person. I'm talking about everybody, right? So there's probably 1 million videos filmed by people and one happens to go viral that they're filming. So there's a little bit of luck.
Oh, of course.
In coming up with those. Okay.
There's a ton of luck. And if there's time, I'll talk about how most of the time we're wrong. Like, we'll do those 3 different hooks and I'll think version 1 is going to do best, but only data will actually tell you.
Gotcha.
Which actually gets
what step are we on?
Step 6 we're about to do. That's editing. And that leads right into what we were just talking about.
Misnumbered these. I'm just going to tell you.
Okay.
All right. So next number 6.
Most people are pretty surprised when they find out when we create a video, we actually create 32 videos. Let me tell you why. We're creating 3 different opening hooks. We're also creating 3 different offers. We're going to test all 9 combinations to see which one gets the better click-through rate, which one gets the better watch-through rate, and which one ultimately gets the better conversion rate. I did a LinkedIn vlog that your listeners can go to Joseph Wilkins at LinkedIn, and I show you one video that we recently did where we had a 1.9 return on ad spend on hook 1, we had a 2.7 return on ad spend on hook 2, and a 4.1 return on ad spend on hook 3. The exact same video, just a different opening 5 to 10 seconds. So the more you produce and the more you test, so there's 9. Then what we do is we create each video in square format for Facebook and Instagram and wide format for YouTube and desktop. Then we're going to create the full length. So now we're up to 16. Then we're going to create the full length version, which is normally about 3 minutes. But some platforms won't let me run a 3-minute ad. So I create a half-length version. And if a client says I need to be on TikTok, it has to be a 60-second version. So now we're up to 32 different versions. That's the difference between gambling and testing, right? If I just do one video, I'm putting it all on Black 32 or whatever. I'm not a gambler. But, if I was to go down to Vegas and put it all on one of those squares, that's what it's like just creating one video. Whereas if I've got, a ball on every one of those markers, the chances are way, way higher.
Right.
Exactly. Good. Okay. So that's editing. Now on editing, hear me. The number one reason people stop watching a video is not because it's too long. Netflix is still around. It's because it's too boring. It's because it's irrelevant. It's because it doesn't capture their attention. So a good editor knows how to keep a video clippy, very fast paced, nothing that ever lets people get bored. We literally cut out breaths. We overlap dialogue. We'll cut to the next scene before the last scene's finished. We'll literally speed up the tempo of the people speaking if we feel like it's too boring. Wow. So a good editor knows our videos. If there was one criticism, I would say is that they're almost overwhelming. They won't let you get bored, and a good editor knows how to do that. Okay, step 7, we've talked about it a little bit. It's testing at every step of the process. It's step 7, but it should be step 1A, step 2A, step 3A. You want to test this. So you want to test your ideas. You want to test your scripts. You want to test your jokes. You want to test your edits. Who do you test it on? Well, ideally, get a brain share together of 5 to 10 of your best customers that you trust and ask their opinions. Again, you're always looking for trends rather than individual opinions. But the more you test, back in the days of the infomercials, we would literally spend tens of thousands of dollars to hire focus groups that would fill a one-way mirror room, and we would show our infomercial and they would have a dial and it would say, do I like it? Do I not like it? You're looking for as much feedback as you can from your audience before you spend a bunch of money to go film it, or before you spend a bunch of money to go release it. So constantly be testing. Again, every step of this, I go in more detail in the book. Final step, step 8, forget going viral. This is not...
Just forget it, huh?
Yeah, just forget it. Forget it. It's not going to happen. Now, if it happens, it's like going out and saying, I'm going to get hit by lightning today. Could it happen? Yes. Will it happen? No.
Right.
So what you want to do is create a business strategy that can be repeatable, that can be predictable. Hear me, that you can order inventory in. If there's one problem that my clients don't listen to me over and over again, it's being prepared when we launch this campaign. I can't tell you how many times we've had to stop the campaign because they run out of inventory. You've got to have a business plan around this because it's not just making a video, it's an entire marketing strategy that the video is at the center, but you've also got to have a great website, a great squeeze page that doesn't feel like I've just entered a different universe. It should look and feel like the video. It should have the exact same offer as the video. There should be no bait and switching. You need to know, where should I be buying these ads? I mean, there's all these different pieces of the puzzle if you want to get the kinds of results that we've been talking about. So,
all right.
I think that's 8.
Yeah, that was 8. You're there. I miscounted somewhere along the way. I was like 2 steps ahead, I think. But Well, listen, Joseph, this is fascinating. You said at the beginning that it would probably, you could talk about these 8 steps and it could go for 4 hours.
Oh yeah.
But we got through them, and great info. I want to highlight for our audience, where can they find the free ebook? Because everything you shared, you did a great job of breathing life into it, but let's share that. Where do you want people to go to track down that information? And let's make sure we highlight also your podcast.
Yeah, so our podcast, and we go into way more detail. We also interview people that have gone through this process, whether it's clients that we've worked with, or we just did an interview last week with the founder of Sheets and Giggles that did a Kickstarter campaign with a video that just blew up. So we're constantly learning from our own podcast. That is how to make a video go viral. .com, or how to make a video go viral on any of the podcast platforms. If you want to download the free ebook, it's real simple. Again, just go to funnysalesvideos.com, scroll down to the bottom of the page, you can download it. And if you wanted to get in contact with us, same thing, just go to funnysalesvideos.com, watch some of our videos, buy some of our clients' products. Then there's a little form at the bottom if you want to set up a free brainstorming session to talk about, how your business could benefit from one of these videos.
Oh, this is awesome. So Joseph, I did go check out your videos before you came on, and I was overwhelmed. What I think you said that there's so much, it's so engaging. It was almost, I was almost exhausted watching it. I love it. Unbelievable. So effective. So effective.
Thank you.
Well, you said something else. I just want to quickly highlight that you're doing this to help people. You're not trying to sell. You said that you've got more people knocking the door than you know what to do with, but there is an opportunity here for you to help folks out. And I will tell you, anyone, that if you try these steps and it works for you, we would love for you to let us know. Let Joseph know as well. That's pretty darn cool, quite frankly. And I think these steps have been wonderful. We'll try to implement some of these things with the work we do. And Joseph, you saw one of the videos that we put together. We know the value of video content, and we've been working on coming up with content that we can use on social throughout a few months, but good stuff, man. I thought this is brilliant. 4 months is a little overwhelming if it takes that long for you guys, but I
gotta figure out how to do it in less time, but so far I haven't been able to.
Well, you know what? I don't know that you need to change it if they're so effective, right? So, well, listen, Joseph, thanks for being with us today. This was fun. Folks, he's drinking water. For those of you on the podcast, you can't see this. He's exhausted.
Yeah, my voice is going.
We made him run a marathon. Well, Joseph, hang out for just a little bit. I want to chat with you just after the show, but I do so appreciate you joining us and sharing this great content. So valuable, and I'm sure that our audience will really enjoy this show. So thanks again. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark.
You bet, man. So for the rest of you folks, thank you for joining us here on How's Your ePresence. This is the goal. Our goal is to find people who can help you do something a little better. In this case, a lot better if you're working on videos for your organization. This show is brought to you by ePresence. You can find our website. Our website is ePresence.me. That's ePresence.me, because it's all about you. What do we do at ePresence? We help you with social media. We manage company and personal social media. We also offer consulting and training. If you're interested in any of those offerings, we offer you a 5% discount just by being a listener. So right there on the site, on the page, you can see e-pr.me. So that's short. That's a shortened ePresence name, e-pr.me/listener. Go there. Let us know you're interested in our services, and you'll automatically get a 5% discount on all of our services. So How's Your ePresence is everywhere. We are on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. You can go to any of those locations to find any of these videos. We also drop all of our shows as a podcast. Wherever you are, we'd love for you to subscribe. So hit that subscribe button there on the screen. If you hit that, you'll get a notification when we go live. That way you can ask questions like Jason brought up today and Craig Maddox. So if you have a question, we'll be able to get that answered for you live. Our show is produced by Morgan Wood. We love the work that Morgan does for us and constantly appreciate the things that she does to contribute to ePresence. Until next time, for my guest, Joseph Wilkins, I'm Mark Galvin, and this has been How's Your ePresence?